Good morning, my friends. Today we are going to discuss secondary market or stock market. Today you would like to cover meaning of stock exchanges, meaning of secondary market and definition, characteristics, important functions, benefit of stock exchanges to investors, to the company and to the community. So this area we will cover today itself. Let us see one by one in detail. First one, what is meant by secondary market? We know secondary market represents the secondary market where existing securities are traded. Stock exchange provide an organized mechanism for purchase and sale of existing securities. That is a main important function of secondary market. By now we have 24 approved stock exchanges in our country. The investor want liquidity for their investment. The securities which they hold would easily be sold when they need cash. That is another important functions of this secondary market. Secondary market is also known as stock market. Stock exchanges are organized and regulated market for various securities issued by corporate sector and other institutions. The stock exchanges enable free purchase and sale of securities as commodity exchange allow trading in commodities. There are different definitions as regards secondary market. A very important definition which is given by Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956. Stock exchange means any body of individual, whether incorporated or not, constituted for the purpose of assisting, regulating or controlling the business of buying and selling in securities. It is a very good definition, a very important definition for secondary market given by Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956. Many definitions have given by different authors. Husband and Dockery defined securities or stock exchanges are privately organized markets which are used to facilitate trading in securities. Like many definitions we can see. Now next from the definition we can point out some characteristics, important characteristics which are pointed out from the definitions which is given, which is discussed here. First one that it is a place where securities are purchased and sold. It is secondary market is a mechanism for second hand securities. Again, a stock exchange is an association of person, whether incorporated or not. The trading is strictly regulated. That means the trading in stock exchanges is strictly regulated and rules and regulations prescribed for various transactions. Then another important one, that is investors and speculators can play. That means this another important characteristics. That means both genuine investors and speculators buy and sell these shares and securities. Then again, the securities of the corporations, trust, government, municipal corporations, etc. are allowed to deal in these stock exchanges. These are all the important points or features which are pointed out as per the definitions given by Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956. Okay. Then next we can see that what are the functions of stock exchange. It's very important area as far as the stock exchange is concerned. Many functions are discharged by this stock exchange. It is a mechanism for improving our economic and financial conditions of the country. The stock exchange plays an important role in the economic development also. then various functions performed by this stock exchange can be summarized as first one, that is it ensure liquidity of the capital. As we are discussed in our previous lessons, functions of primary market, it also ensure the liquidity of capital. The stock exchange provide a place where shares and stocks are converted into cash. These exchange provide a ready market for buyers and sellers are always available, and those who are in need and who are in need for of cash can sell their holding or securities. This is called liquidity. This ensure liquidity of capital. It's also a regulated market for securities. We are discussed in our previous area. The stock exchange provide a ready market for securities. These are once listed continue to be traded at the stock exchanges irrespective of the fact that owners go on changing. The exchange provide regular market and it is regulated. It provide a regular and continuous market for the securities. Once it is listed, they can continue with their operation. The next one, that is evaluation of securities. That means the investor can evaluate the worth of their holdings from the prices quoted at different exchanges of those securities. This means the securities are quoted under the free atmosphere of demand and supply, and the prices are set on the basis of the free market. That is the intersection of what we say that demand and supply market operation. The next one, it mobilizes surplus savings. That means we know that stock exchange provide a ready market for various securities. That means the investor do not have any difficulty in investing their savings by purchasing shares, bonds, etc. from the exchanges. This facility is not there than my persons who want to invest their savings will not find avenue to do so. That is these exchanges helps for mobilizing surplus savings. Then another important function that is helpful in raising new capital. That means that is very important function. That means the new and existing concern need capital for their activities as far as a business is concerned. New concern raise capital for the first time and existing units increase their capital for expansion and diversification purposes. The shares of new concerns are registered at the stock exchanges, and existing companies also sell their shares through brokers, etc. So the next one, that is safety in dealings. Stock exchanges are somewhat safe as considered with the other market. The dealing at stock exchanges are governed by well-defined rules and regulations of the SEBI and Security Contract Act in 1956. There is no scope for manipulating transactions or speculations or malpractices. Every contract is done according to the procedures and provisions laid down, and there is no fear in the minds of contracting parties. The next one, that is the listing of securities. What we say that only listed securities can be purchased and sold at this platform, this security exchanges. Every company is compelled to list its securities and will apply to the exchange authorities. The listing is allowed only after critical examinations and evaluations of the capital structure, management, and prospectus of the company. All these are regulated by the strict and control over the exchanges. The next, that is platform for public debt. It is another important functions. That means the increasing government's roles in economic development has necessitated the raising of a huge amount for this purpose. That means the stock exchange provide a platform for raising public debt. That public debt, we know that the stock exchanges are also able to organize the market for government securities. Okay, the next one, that is clearing house of business informations. We are already discussed the important the clearing houses in India. Companies listing in securities with the exchange have to provide financial instruments, annual reports and other reports to ensure maximum publicity of the corporations operations and workings. The economic and their informations provided at the stock exchanges help companies to decide their policies. Clear. The next one, that is smoothen the price movement. That means the stock exchange smoothen the price movement of stocks in the market by ensuring the continuous flow of securities. Okay. Then the next one that's important, the investor protection. These stock exchanges are regulated by the SEBI and the Securities Control Act to the 1956. Then only it protect the interest of investors that render safeguarding activities for investors in securities. It provide a grievance redressal mechanism for the investors also. In such a case, it helps to protect the interest of investors. So these are all the important functions which are performed by these stock exchanges. Then next we see that benefit of stock exchanges. We are already discussed the stock exchanges are much beneficial for the economic development and overall growth of our country. Even though it is benefited for particular stream of the society or stakeholders, let us categorize it into three. First one, that is benefit to the investors, and benefit to the company, and benefit to the community. Let us see one by one in detail. First one, that is it is beneficial to the investors. How stock exchanges is beneficial to the stock exchange? We can see that it ensures the diversification of investment and risk by providing liquidity of investment. We are already discussed. The next one, as far as an investor is concerned, it impart the negotiability of securities, which in turn help investors to raise loan by pledging their holdings as a collateral securities. Then again, it is as far as an investor is concerned, it assures safety for their dealings. It gives all time knowledge for true value of their investment through stock exchanges. Then it helps to minimizes the risk of investment in industry. Then it educate the prospective investors. As far as an investor is concerned, it is very beneficial to the investors. It educated prospective investors with advertising influence of the publicity of transactions and enables them to make rational choices. So these are all the important advantages as far as investor is concerned. Then this stock exchanges is much beneficial to the company. How it is beneficial to the company? Let us see. First one, it enhances the credit standing of the company. It widens the market for listed securities. It reduces the danger of group opposition to management by enhancing marketability to the company securities. Then it minimizes the risk of new issue remaining unsold by enhancing the response to the public issue. It helps minimize the price fluctuations of the securities, and it is enable the company to command better bargaining power. It helps for better bargaining power. Then it enjoys several tax advantages by listing its shares. These are all the important advantages as far as a company is concerned. And the last one, that is benefit to the community or to the society. It provide or it proves highly advantageous to the community at large, because that stimulate the investment in industry, mobilize public savings, and ensure a steady flow of capital into productive enterprises. Then it helps the government in raising necessary finance from the public. It assists in the best utilization of capital and minimize the waste of the scarce capital resources. It helps for smoothen this process of capital formation that reflect the business condition in the real sense in our country. So these are all the important advantages as far as what we say that community is concerned. By these words, let us conclude today's class. All of you, please go through this video, and if you have any doubts, please ask me. Okay, thank you to all. Okay.